Aloha everyone here in Italy, and there was a quote that we put up on social media recently that is one of the deeper teachings of Aloha, and it's Aho Nui, Aho Nui, patient perseverance. To have patient perseverance on the path. What's the saying? I'm here in Italy, and so I should use an Italian saying, right? Rome wasn't built in a day. It wasn't. I've been there. Can't imagine that they would even in this day and age be able to build a city that amazing in a single day. Aho Nui is a very important concept because we live in a world where people want such rapid and immediate gratification. Hey, I do too. I like to get things right away. You know, they announce the new iPhone. They announce this new technology. They talk about this new, thing that they have coming up. And I'm always thinking, man, why are you going to make us wait for? Why don't you just, announce it and make it available immediately? It's the world we live in. Everything comes so rapidly now. Do you remember back in the day when you would have to mail a letter to someone and put a stamp on it and send it out? And then you'd have to wait, wondering, did they read it? Are they going to ever respond? I remember the first time that my mom emailed me. I taught her how to email, and she emails me, right? And my phone rings. I didn't know she had emailed me, so my phone rings, and I pick it up. And she's like, why haven't you responded to the email? I sent it like 5 minutes ago. And I'm like, Mom, my computer's not even open. This is back in I think it was like the late 90s, early 2000. And I'm like, Mom, my computer's not even open. She's like, well, I sent you the email, don't you? And so I had to explain to her, Mom, you used to write me letters and wait for the phone to ring. And with an email, it's the same thing. If I'm not at my computer, well, I guess I can't use that excuse anymore. With an iPhone, you get immediate notification that there's an email. Your Apple Watch vibrates. Everything is like right away. The problem with that is that things don't happen right away. This is our place here in Italy. This is our home. And I've been here for 10 years now. This has been our place for 10 years. This is our home here in Italy. And it didn't happen overnight. 20 years ago, I was living paycheck to paycheck, and I would have laughed at myself if I ever dreamed of having a place here in Italy. 20 years ago, I was obese. I was in the worst shape of my life. I weighed 235 pounds on a 5'9" frame, and I had a really big awakening back in 1997, right around that time, and I stood there as a teacher of NLP. And I said, things have to change. Things have to get better. I need to improve. I think we all have those moments where we want to do it. I ate healthy that day and no weight came off. I ate healthy the next day and nothing happened. I started doing a little bit of savings and investing and working on getting more clients. And some of these things, you don't see an immediate result. You don't see something right away happening. And so many people get discouraged when that occurs. I remember the first time I came here to Italy, probably like 2000. I think it was it was 2000 or 2001. And I came here to Italy and I fell in love. I fell in love with this place. And people across the valley have some dogs. I guess it's feeding time for the dogs. So I fell in love with this place and I was like, wow, I want to live here one day. I want to have the ability to live here. And I remember telling this to one of my friends, and my friend, she just looked at me and she said, how are you going to ever do that? How can you afford it? I'm like, I don't know. I can't afford it right now, for sure. It doesn't make any sense right now. There's no way I could get the time off to be here and truly enjoy it. One day, though, I will. One day I will. I had to save. I had to really dedicate and spend the time putting money away, investing, getting clear on what it would mean to live here. And at the same time, I'm eating healthy and working out. I remember when I first started doing my workouts, I couldn't do a single pull-up to save my life. I mean, I was the kid in high school that had really strong legs, but upper body, nothing. I couldn't bench press the bar. I remember starting to work out, and I went to go do a pull-up and I couldn't do it. And the workout that I did, they recommended if you can't do a pull-up, that you pull on these bands. And I'm like pulling on these bands going, come on, man. Took time. Takes time. I share this with my kids all the time. Aho Nui. My son is going to college this year. He's going to be entering university. He just graduated from high school. And we've had some discussions about, it's going to be another 4 years. It's dedication. I think that's the biggest thing. That's a key word to Aho Nui. In order for you to achieve something, you need to have a level of dedication to it. Many of you have heard the saying, jack of all trades, master of none. That's not actually the original saying. If I remember correctly, it comes from Thomas Jefferson, and what he said is, jack of all trades, master of one, which is a really interesting way of putting it. It's not master of none, it's master of one. You see, in ancient times, you would dedicate to a path. You would dedicate to, this is who I am, this is what I do. It doesn't mean that you don't learn other things. It doesn't mean that you don't learn how to do other things. Let's use a spiritual concept, because Aho Nui comes from the spiritual teachings that we share at the Empowerment Partnership, Huna. So I teach Huna. Huna is a modern label. It's not what they would have called it in the past. It's a modern label for an ancient system of empowerment and flexibility of the mind, body, spirit. It would have been called Ho'omana. Ho'omana is empowerment. And Aho Nui, patient perseverance, comes from these teachings. It comes from the teachings of Huna. In order for you to have Aho Nui, you need to have dedication. You need to have a path. So there are lots of things that I've learned in my life, lots of different concepts or ideas from a spiritual perspective. I learned how to meditate at a very early age. Eastern philosophy, not Huna-based. Drumming and chanting is a part of what I do. My teacher is a master of hula. He also knows how to drum Tahitian, and he knows how to do different types of dancing. However, his focus is on hula. One of my spiritual teachers, Uncle George, the founder of the Merry Monarch Hula Festival, he's the one that taught me about Aho Nui. And at one point on the path when I was learning from him, he said, at some point you have to say, this is my path. This is what I am dedicated to. This is what I am focused on. It doesn't mean that you don't learn other things. It means that as you learn other things, you take that learning and you put it into your path. At one point on my path, I wanted to learn feng shui. I wanted to learn about the placement of objects in your environment, in a house. And I found a person who had a 10-generation lineage going all the way back into Singapore of feng shui. And I said to him, I practice Huna. I practice a very spiritual approach to life and to, the path. I want to learn feng shui to bring it into my Huna path. I don't plan on becoming a master of feng shui. I plan on bringing this into what I do. And he asked if he could learn some things from me, from my path, so that he could then bring it into his path that he teaches. It was an amazing sharing of concepts and ideas. In order for you to have patient perseverance, you need to have a couple of things. You need to have a direction. You need to know, this is the direction I'm going in, a future goal. This is who I want to be. This is what I want to do. You have to have dedication to it. You have to know, this is my path. This is what I do, because it flows from who you are. Then it's really easy to dedicate. Students come up to me all the time and they say, hey, you should be doing this or you should be doing that. Your company should be doing X, Y. And I'm like, no, man, what we do is what we do, because that's who we are. And other companies may do what you're thinking, or maybe you should go do what you're thinking. Like one of my favorite examples is a lady came up to me in a training and said, kids should learn this stuff at an early age. And I'm like, I totally agree. I'm so grateful that my kids got to learn these things that I did as a kid. She's like, you should start teaching kids. And I'm like, no. I should not be teaching kids. I prefer to teach adults. She's like, but you just said kids need this. I said, I did, and it's not my path. It's not my path to teach kids. Kids come into my trainings, they're welcome to be there. 100 kids in my training? No. I was the chairman of a board for a K through 12 school. I got to work with the headmaster one-on-one, and I got to watch what it takes to teach kids. It's not my path. It's not who I am. So I can dedicate to my path. I've been doing huna since I was pre-teen, just right before being a teenager. Ho'oponopono, the forgiveness process. Hio'olani meditation, learning about energy. Began teaching it in the 90s. Celebrated my 25th year with the company back in 2017. And so it doesn't take effort. It doesn't take effort to dedicate to a path and have patient perseverance on the path when the path flows from who you are. When the path flows from who you are and it fits, it resonates with your soul, it's easy to dedicate. It's easy to dedicate to your family when you love them. It's easy to dedicate to your partner when you have a spiritual connection. It's easy to dedicate to your students when what you're doing is flowing from who you are. So if you are having trouble dedicating to a path, I would almost want to challenge you as a teacher and say, maybe it's not your path. If you're having trouble dedicating to something or someone in your life, maybe it's not your path. Maybe one of the things that you need to take a look at is, who am I meant to be? If you're meant to be someone, then what you're doing should guide you to that being. Meaning, if you're not who you are right now, and you can imagine that I may be that person in 5 years, 10 years, then what you're doing right now should begin to move you towards that. Then it's easy to dedicate. Then it's really easy to dedicate. Fell in love with this place, 17 years ago, and now I feel very fortunate that it took a decade to be able to save up and to get this place to where we want it to be. But after 10 years of having this place and constantly improving it and doing little things every single year, it's home. It's home. And it's easy to dedicate when you love it. If I didn't love being here, it'd be very difficult to dedicate time, energy, and money into this place. Same thing is true for life. It's a metaphor for life. This didn't happen overnight. I remember where I began, and I know that some of you as my students or as people first watching this video and never having gotten to meet me, I remember what it was like to be living paycheck to paycheck. There was a point in my life where all of my belongings were in a car, and if my friend had a place for me to sleep, I'd be able to sleep there. If not, essentially, my home was a vehicle with 4 wheels on it. I've been there. I've been at low points in my life, and my family and I, we practice gratitude, and this didn't happen overnight. My fitness, my level of success, it took time. And so what we teach at the Empowerment Partnership, it helps you get rid of baggage rapidly. That's the easy part. Letting go of negative emotions and limiting beliefs is the easy thing to do. Life takes dedication. So if you're having trouble dedicating, you really need to take a look at, is this the path that you're meant to be on? Because truly, when something, you know how you know when something is meant to be? I learned this from one of my other teachers, John Kaimikawa. When something's meant to be, it comes easy. Dedication is effortless. Dedication is easy and effortless. Because when it flows from your heart, when it flows from your soul, then it's easy to do. So I guess that's the deeper lesson for today. Only took me 15 minutes to get that out. Gotta show you guys the surroundings. You gotta check this out. It's a cloudy day, but look at this view. I mean, look at this incredible view that we have here. I mean, just absolutely amazing. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Aloha.